Now let's come back to our class for today. I'm not going to give you any big lecture, for today, but I will try to orient you towards all these five dimensions that we have chosen about, our course. Okay, see, now I will give you a brief of what is the rationale behind developing this course. For last 20 plus years, I'm involved into translation business. When I was in JNU doing my master's, I started Modlingua in 1999. In fact, I started it already before, but formally I gave a domain name Modlingua in 1999. And since then, I have not been able to find any other profession which would divert me to any other activity than languages. So I have been very happy and content with what I do, and I do it with very passion. Now, the fundamentals of what I have learned in last 20 years is that when I started this business, at that phase of time, I was not even having a telephone, not even a telephone landline connection. At that phase of time, there somehow we were able to get, a voicemail box number, and people used to give a call on that voicemail and then send a message there, and I used to go to any booth and then log into that voicemail and listen to the message and then respond. So that was the beginning of communication in the business. But then after in hostel we were able to install one landline number in 1999, and then the mobile phone came, Motorola, which was very costly at that phase of time. 1998-99, the cost was 32 rupees, for 1 minute, and then it slashed to 16 rupee, and then 8, and then 4, and then 2, and then 1. So over a period of time, this has happened. Parallelly, there was a internet boom, and that too only static pages, HTML pages used to come, and that particular page was like website were created just for information. And it was not interactive. There was no two-way communication between the website and the individual who was visiting. It was just for information. You could visit website and find out information, and that's all. Or contact a person through email then after. But slowly, telephony thing also has flourished. Website has also flourished. HTML has become now PHP and then interactive websites. And then there has come a phase when the internet has resulted in explosive boom, then everybody wants to be on internet. People do not want to go and meet even now. Even during this corona crisis, translators and language community is beating it like anything, because they have been used to sitting at home and doing their activities. And at the same time, there has been a globalization phenomena when everybody wants to go international. And also parallelly, there is a localization phenomena where everything wants to be done in a local language. So international companies want to come to you in a local language, and you want to go global. So there is a concept called glocal, So globalization and localization is taking place parallelly. And internet explosion has taken place. Google phenomena is there. Facebook phenomena has come into picture. Twitter phenomena is already there. So, all these things has created a kind of revolution in communication market. And in this revolution, there are two things which is very particular and peculiar. And that peculiarity comes from the fact that, people's habit have changed. We want everything instantly. For example, if let's say a book is produced in Hindi or English, and if that particular writer is quite international or famous, or he wants to go famous, what he or she does, parallelly they translate their books into different languages. So by the time Gopal ji has written his music in Hindi, he would like to have it parallelly produced in 10, 20, 30, 100 languages. It depends on the purchasing power of the writer or the publishing house. They can hire immediately, or there are many times when your followers do the needful for you. So something which is produced in Hindi, it goes into different Indian languages instantly, or within a fraction of second, or within a fraction of minutes, or within a day time. So this kind of consumption pattern has created huge demand for translators, and the professional ones are being paid high because they can quickly adapt to the situation, go live, do translation as quickly as possible with quality control, and deliver it to the end client. So if those people who are part of this race and who are able to tap those opportunities, they are doing quite well, either in as a content writer, or as a translator, or as an editor, or a quality controller, or as a terminologist, or as an interpreter, because there are lots of things which is happening live as well. So all these things have created demand for totally different skill sets for a translator or a writer. 20 years back, I recall, there were lots of people who were not able to type on computers. Still, there are lots of, English speaking students who are not able to type Hindi in their computers, because although they are Hindi speakers, but they cannot type, This is what is called digitally deprived people. So under this deprivation stage, what is happening? We are not able to cater to the required demands of the industry. So for that thing, we need to learn and adapt and improve and do branding. So one can become famous, by meeting lots of people, which used to happen earlier, which is happening now also. But you can become famous by sitting at your home as well. And that happens because the consumption pattern of content has changed. And what is that consumption pattern? That consumption pattern is that we must be online and do things online. So keeping these requirements, I will move on to the program which we have, the course outline. And there are 5 modules in this particular course, and I believe they will be able to help you by the end of the course to be confident enough and take on the world as a leader or as an entrepreneur, and sell yourself or sell your brand in a better way. So there are 5 aspects of this course. One is business development, another one is online marketing, and third one is social media marketing. Broadly, these 3 points are same side of the same coin, of a coin. I mean, there are 3 dimensions, although I could have divided into 2, but I have divided them into 3 to be more specific and give you more little detail, insight into it. And the third one is project management, which is very important, because if you don't manage things well, all these top 3 points, becomes tiresome, and you don't get proper end results. And once we have developed these 4 points, built on these skills, it becomes very easy to diversify us as a leader or as an entrepreneur. We already, I see that, there are some good number of people who already have some of these skills imbibed into you, and some of you are already entrepreneurs. But if you follow what I have, what I'm trying to convey through assignments or through lectures, and do practical and ask questions whenever needed, I'm sure by the time we end this course, you will find a big change in yourself, and you will be able to do more better and scale up more easily into the system of language or translation business or content writing business or even other businesses. So let's start with number 1. What is business development? Can anybody tell me what it is? Anyone?
Ensuring you have more clientele, you have more business coming your way by various promotional activities.
Right. So, there is a concept called creating a brand, or if there is a brand, you use that brand, and using that brand, you create more business. So the more business you have, the more better it is for you. So this is what is called business development. Means how to grow your brand and get more business. This is the shortest thing that can happen in business development. But there are various steps to be taken care of while we are trying to promote a brand or trying to grow business. And what are those main points? Business development needs lots of efforts, and that is what is called contact program. Either you do it verbally, or you do it through phone, or you meet people, or you send flyers, or you send advertisement in newspapers, or do hoardings and do social work, or whatever ways of reaching out to people. The more you reach out to people, there is more possibility of getting return business, because awareness, advertisements, brand, etc. They get into psyche of the people. They create, so like it's like creating a positive image and selling your USPs to variety of people, and that's how your business grows. But all these things takes efforts, planning. So we will cover all these points into business development. So now, in business development itself, when we are talking about advertisement, when we are talking about reaching out to people, when we are talking about reaching out to people through newspaper or flyers or through hoardings, these are our traditional way of marketing your product. But nowadays, a huge number of people globally have gone online. Lots of shops are being closed because nobody wants to go to shop now. There are platforms like Amazon, Alibaba, etc. Where you go, you have lots of details given about the product. You decide, you choose, you place an order, and everything comes to you. So this is online, product buying and selling. Similarly, not everybody can have access to Amazon or to Alibaba or a variety of things. The search engine phenomena called Google or Yahoo or Alta Vista, and there are many other search engines, where there is always a race for you to come on the top results, top 5, top 10 results of the search engine. Suppose if I say, translators in Toronto, or writers in Toronto, Hindi experts in Toronto, and if name of Mr. Baghel does not come in top 5 ranking or top 10 ranking, people are quick enough to forget what they have searched for. They are not going to search again and again to locate Gopal Baghel. They will find 5 people on the top. They will contact them first. If they fail, then they go for another one. So how to reach?
That's right. Yeah.
So how to reach that top 5 or top 10 level, so that people directly approach you and you don't wait for them to go to second page of search results. So this is what is called online marketing. So when you start selling your products or selling yourself or selling your own brand and making it, available on the search engine on the top 5 or top 10, this is what we will learn in this online marketing. So now comes social media marketing. This is part of business development, or this is extension of online marketing. Why this social media is important nowadays? Can somebody tell me about this? Do you have any idea on it? What is social media marketing? Any vague idea you have? Any thought?
Marketing through social media platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, and all.
Yeah, but what you market?
Like your ideas, like what you want to sell.
Right, that is there. but how you do that? I want to understand that, Jaideep.
Okay, I don't have that much knowledge.
Okay, so this business development or even online marketing or social media marketing, there are 2 ways of doing it. One is you pay the platform and they do the marketing for you. Okay, and they charge very heavy. This is what is called pay per click. जितनी बार आपका क्लिक होगा उस पर्टिकुलर एड पे, उतनी बार आपके अकाउंट से पैसे चले जाएंगे उसके अकाउंट में जिसका प्लेटफॉर्म है. So that's how they survive, and that's how they have become the biggest millionaires of the world. Google owners, or Facebook owners, or LinkedIn owners, or even Amazon owners, or Alibaba owners. How they earn? They earn because they give you a platform and they charge you for every advertisement which they do for you. But there is another way of doing marketing without paying them, and that is creating your own brand value. So suppose everybody spends say around half an hour or 1 hour or 2 hour or 3 hour on social media. Most of the people, educated lot, including me or you, because we go there for fun. We spend time, we get relaxed, we get connected. We have some, there are some hormones generated when somebody likes your picture or somebody likes your comment, So this is a good feeling that comes, but we hardly use that good feeling for branding ourselves. So suppose if you are a professional, you are a translator or you are a writer, and if you talk about let's say funny things like some jokes, crack cheap jokes, or distribute some porn photographs, or talk about heroine and talk about actress and actors, then that is of no use. But if you are a writer and you write about something, if you are a translator, if you translate and talk about translation, if you are a content writer, if you talk about content writing or write something which is constructive, which is professional, and if you do it on a regular basis, over a period of time, you will find lots of followers. People follow you. The more number of followers are there, the more visibility you have. Where? In the Google search engine, because Google knows everything what you are doing, and that is how passively you are creating your digital footprint. So the more better digital footprint you have, the more professional activities you do, even in social media like Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or LinkedIn or Instagram, the more such activities you do, the more worth it becomes for you. Luckily, day before yesterday, I received a flash message from LinkedIn. Currently, I have around 17,000 followers there. If you go and see my profile, Ravi Kumar, you will notice that over a period of last say 5-7 years, I have not used even a single time, these platforms for fun. Of course, on Facebook at times I do some funny activities just to be jovial and lively with friends. But when it comes to professional world like LinkedIn, you will find I always share something knowledgeable, and I share something knowledgeable on what matters, something related to my professional activities, either translation or interpretation or law or some social activities, social work. So these are 4 dimensions of my life as a professional. So I use those 4 dimensions, and I confine myself in those boundaries only. So I'm not saying that is the end of life, but that certainly gives you edge. That certainly makes you more constructive. So that is where the social media marketing comes into picture. Either you pay or you do such activities that people start following you. People start believing you, that this person will not be wrong because this person is doing proper research when he comes back on this platform. There are lots of people who talk trash and nonsense, and you don't take them seriously. But if you want people to take you seriously, you have to be serious enough. So that is what is social media marketing. We will learn how to do it, by paying it as well, and we will learn how to do it by not paying as well, in this our course. So now these are 3 dimensions of business development, which is I have expanded into 3 parts, So after all business development is happening, you are doing marketing, you are doing branding of yourself, you have created your online marketing platform, you have created your digital footprint, you are very serious in social media. But if projects comes to you and you fail to deliver, then there is no point, doing all this business development and branding. Because the moment you fail, it will give you low to your own self, and it will create a totally negative brand. Because once a good branding has happened, even a small slightest mistake can tarnish your image. And the whole exercise of branding, whole exercise of online marketing, whole exercise of social media marketing will go futile. So in order to manage your brand, you must know how to manage your project. And in project management, we will learn the timing, we will learn the cost, we will learn the human resources, we will learn the critical points, which must be taken into consideration while trying to manage a translation project or a content management project, or even writing, or even publishing, or even selling any services or even products. So this comes under project management. And certainly there is always a quality management there. Without quality, nothing happens. So now the fourth point, after, let's say, you have done business development, you know how to do online marketing, you know how to do social media marketing, you know how to bring clients, you know how to manage projects. When all this you know already, and you have practiced a little bit about it, and you have seen it successfully how to do it, then why remain an employee? Why you want to remain a small-time translator or a content writer? Why don't you generate business? Why don't you employ other people? Why don't you also learn to do management of human resources? So there comes the leadership and entrepreneurship. If we have already created, these skill sets called business development, online marketing, social media marketing, and project management, then I believe, entrepreneurship will be very, very handy for us, and we will be able to do well, in our lives, I believe. So, that is the point, where I am trying to come back and talk to you about. And, which becomes very important for everybody. And if we are able to make use of our course, properly, I believe we will be able to do justice to the course. If you have any question, please welcome. I would like to hear from you, and if there is any possibility of addition or deleting some course content, we can certainly do that. But this is what is there in our broad frame of our course in translation management, certificate course, that we will try to cover it within a 2 months' time.
I have a question, sir.
Yeah, please tell me, Salah.
If you are planning to establish or launch your translation company,
Right.
of course you will be new in the market, and you will need to create a database of clients so that you can continue your work and succeed. Okay?
Right.
On the other hand, there are many other translation agencies and companies that are hoarding the market. What
Right.
I want to say is what differs you from them. As clients, as a client, you will choose to go to a well-known company instead. Did you get my point?
See, I will tell you one thing. There is a concept. There is a book, written by C.K. Prahalad. He is a very good known Indian, management guru.
May you write it, sir?
I will write.
Okay.
Okay. I will write his name. His name is. I'm just trying to see where you have. His name is C.K. Prahalad. Okay.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
So now I will tell you, there is a concept, earlier, let's say we are talking about market, there are big challenges of a big translation company or even a corporate. Let's say a company which is very big in nature. Many times they fail to cater to translate, the clients personally. People always need personalized services nowadays, because client is king. So client is king or queen, and if you don't give them a personalized service, what will happen? They will be annoyed, and they will rather prefer to talk to someone who is ready to listen to him or her and give personalized services. So there comes the services, the advantage to professionals or who are new to the business and who are trying to expand and who have a small team. So let's say if you have a small team of 5 people or 2 people or 3 people and you are giving personalized services to your clients, I'm 100% sure you will do well in front of a big company. Big company may have a big purchasing power, but they do not have that worth that you have, because they cannot afford to give that much personalized, solutions which you can as a small team. So there comes one thing. And another thing is, big companies generally do not respond quickly. They have too much of red tapeism. They have too much of administration.
Yeah, that is right. Yeah.
And here you can, you as a, as the project manager or as a owner of this agency, you will be quickly able to take decisions about anything wrong which has happened in the system. So the more quickly you cater to the such demands, or corrective measures you take as quickly as possible, client will be happy. Even if you do mistakes, they will allow you to do mistakes because they know that you will correct it quickly. So there, we have to take advantage of these points and talk like a king. You are not, a one-time agency. You are a professional, man, and a professional's worth is more important than someone who is not a translator or who is not from the industry and who has become a project manager. Many times, in companies, there are people who are handling a big project and who are not translators, who don't know it, So
Yes,
if you know your business well, you will talk eye to eye with your client, and that confidence will give you USP, and client will be happy to deal with you, even if you ask for higher price, at times. I will give you my example, my friend. I always work on European cost in India. I never work at, Indian price in India. Either I work on American cost, or I work on or Canadian cost, or I work on European cost. Many times there are some personal, clients or friends. They come to me. I certainly help them as a friend, but not as a professional. Certainly I give them professional services, but when it comes to price, I never go down below certain standards which I have set for myself. Certainly we face problems, but if you go down to pressure, you are defeated. So instead of going down to pressure, why don't you diversify yourself? Become a writer. While you don't have any work, write something. If you don't have any work, attend a conference. If you don't have any work, become a poet, or become a musician, compose music, or learn something productive in life. There are lots of things to happen in this world. Why only do business work and remain slave to certain money? Life, we have life, which is very worth. We must use it for other thing as well. This is my philosophy, and I may be wrong, but I try to tell people why to work below certain standards.
No, that is true. It's very good. Yeah.
So that is what it is, Mohammed. Any other questions you have in mind? I will be happy to answer. Gopalji, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. So no, whatever you said was good, and it is very useful. It is going to be practically very, very, I think, rewarding, and rather very useful. And you can earn also out of that.
Right.
Okay. So all that is good. So basically, we are going to have 3 classes in a week
Right.
for 2 months.
2
3
months,
or 4
yes.
classes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
And before I close, I was referring to C.K. Prahalad. He has written a book called Bottom of Pyramid, Fortune at the Bottom of Pyramid. And he has also written, there is a book called Innovation in This Age. He has given a theory called N is equal to 1, right? And R is equal to G. So what is this N is equal to 1? N is the client, and 1 is one client. Means every client is unique, right? And what is R? R is resource. And what is G? G is called global. So R is, resources are global now in nature. They are not regional, neither local. Means you don't have to own the resources, to provide unique experience to every client. You just need to have access to resources. Means, for example, platforms like Ola, Uber, or even Amazon or other ones, what are they doing? They are not owning the resources. They have access to the resources. And they are providing unique experience to every client through this phenomena only. The only thing that they have done is they have added some technology, some innovation to this concept. So even as a translation agency now, I believe it's very easy for me to become global. It's because I can access to anyone in this world anytime. And I don't need to own them in my office, translators or interpreters or any team, and still provide good experience to our clients. We can have good quality of work in translation. Let's say for Punjabi, I hire people in Punjab, not in Delhi. For Spanish, I hire people in Argentina or Spain or Colombia or Uruguay or Paraguay or Mexico. For French, I hire people in Africa. For Japanese, I hire people in Japan. For Chinese, I hire people in China. And it is very easy. You just hire them. You don't have to be here hiring locals who have less quality control and who are not natives. So the world is moving towards hiring natives. If you are a Hindi speaker, a native speaker, focus on Hindi. If you are Arabic speaker, focus on Arabic. If you are Punjabi speaker, you focus on Punjabi. The only thing that you have to do is get access to people where you can go get more business. Get access to more human resources where you could do your projects quite easily and make use of human resources available. So with this, my friend, I would like to end for today. Still, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I will be available for next 5-10 minutes in this boardroom. We will meet again tomorrow, India time at 7 o'clock. Is 7 o'clock